thấy tôi quay về, về với bữa cơm nhà mà bao lâu tôi bỏ qua. Nhắm mắt thấy ba mẹ ngồi bên đứa em thơ dài, nhìn lại năm tháng qua. Tôi học cách yêu thương người khác tôi và bao dung cho người ghét tôi. Tôi học cách xua đau thương bằng nụ cười và bằng niềm tin ở con người. Nếu một mai tôi có bay lên trời thì người ơi tôi đã sống rất thảnh thơi. Nếu một mai tôi có đi qua đời thì người ơi tôi đã sống rất tuyệt vời.
Con tên là Bảo, xin đại diện cho gia đình của Bằng. Cảm ơn các anh chị, các bà con and relative, the teachers, Abi teacher, Don teacher, Adele, neighbor, tới đây để mà tưởng niệm cuộc đời của Bằng. Hôm nay chỉ làm lễ tưởng niệm thôi, không có cho có xác ở đây, tại nhà hoàng chưa có làm giấy tờ xong. Nhưng mà lúc đầu gia đình của Bằng cũng không có tính làm gì nhiều, nhưng mà tình thương của mỗi người, thành ra Linh mới quyết định là làm để lễ tưởng niệm để gặp mọi người, có thể chia sẻ những gì mà đã xảy ra, quen biết với Bằng, với Linh, với lại mấy đứa con. Thì có nhân dịp ngày hôm nay, xin cảm ơn tất cả mọi người đã bỏ thì giờ tới, cũng như là gặp lại một lần cuối, tưởng niệm một lần cuối với Bằng. Chuyện xảy ra rất là thình lình, thành ra không có chuẩn bị không gì được. Bằng không có phải là bị bệnh nằm lâu dài, nhưng mà chỉ có mất thình lình, qua đêm là mất. Gia đình vẫn còn in shock, không có tưởng tượng nổi là chuyện xảy ra như vậy. Thì chương trình xin lỗi là nếu có gì bê bối, xin các anh chị, các cô, các bác, các bạn bè bỏ qua giùm. Nếu ai có những kỷ niệm gì với Bằng thì xin lên để chia sẻ, để những người khác có thể biết chút đỉnh về Bằng những khía cạnh khác. Như hồi hôm qua, hãng của Bằng có làm một cái lễ tưởng niệm để em bỏ cái slide mà tụi hãng của Bằng có làm á. Đợi chút xíu. Hôm qua hãng của Bằng có làm một cái lễ kỷ niệm, mà nhờ đó mà tụi em với Linh mới có thấy cái different side của Bằng, là trong hãng rất là nhiều người mến. Người ta tổ chức là gấp như vậy mà cũng có chừng 20-30 người tới dự, kể chuyện những cái khía cạnh mà vui vẻ của Bằng, những cái khía cạnh mà tình thương giúp đỡ. Trong đó nhiều người rất là mến với Bằng. Mà thiệt, Linh cũng nói là đi làm á, mấy chục năm nay Bằng về không có nói về trong hãng về cái gì hết, thì cũng nghĩ là không có ai để ý tới. Nhưng mà thiệt ra là rất là nhiều người tới người ta nói là Bằng rất là thành thật, hơi nóng tánh một chút, nhưng mà vui vẻ, lúc nào cũng giúp đỡ người, ai cũng mến hết, không có một người nào mà nói xấu hết. Thì cái đó cũng như là một cái niềm vui hãnh diện là có một người em, có một người cha, người chồng là những người khác người ta thích, người ta mến. Những hình ảnh này người ta mới hãng mới gửi hôm qua, nhưng mà không biết nhà không có những hình ảnh này, không có biết là trong hãng như có cái tình thân như vậy, có nhiều cái sự quý mến như vậy. Xin lỗi, nếu mà có ai có gì chia sẻ thì xin mời lên nói để tất cả mọi người biết thêm về tính tình của Bằng. Xin mời Nguyen lên.
Hi everyone, my name is Anna, and I am Joseph's cousin on his mother's side. And just to translate a little for those of you, this is Bao, Paul, and this is Joseph's older brother, and he was sharing some pictures that were shared from Joseph's workplace. And just recently, I think yesterday, they had a memorial. And for the decades that he worked at his workplace, he didn't really come home and share any stories of what had happened at work. And so they were kind of surprised to see all of these people. It was an impromptu memorial, and there were 20 or 30 people there sharing all of these heartfelt, touching stories. And so it was a side that they had never known of their loved one. And so it was wonderful to see so many people who were sharing these stories, and to know that their brother, father, husband was going to be missed. And so I also wrote down some thoughts to share, and like many of you, it's not in my wildest dreams that I ever thought that we would be here. My heart broke in a way that I never thought it could break when I heard that Joseph was no longer on earth here with us. And I call Joseph Anh Bang. So I mentioned he's one of my older cousins on my mother's side, and I have been there for a lot of different times of Joseph's life. So I was there when he married Jolene. I was there to hold Abby and Dawn when they were little babies. So I've known their family for as long as I can remember. And I live in Orange County. I work at a school of gerontology, and gerontology is the study of aging. And so we look at the biopsychosocial process on how it affects us as people. And even though I work in the field of aging, death is still incredibly challenging, especially when it comes unexpectedly. And so when my cousin passed, it reminded me of a coworker who made a comment when one of our beloved colleagues passed away. And she said, "We all think we're invincible. We live as if tomorrow is guaranteed." And so I like to feel like the way that I can pay tribute to my cousin and to honor his memory is to reflect on my life and to live my best life and to encourage others to do the same. And so I'm reminded of a book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, A Life Transformed by the Dearly Departing. And it was written by Bronnie Ware, who is an Australian palliative care nurse. So palliative care is when someone knows that they're dying, and so they're receiving some care so that they can feel comfortable. And these top 5 regrets are captured as 5 wishes, which I think can be avoidable if we're intentional. So the first wish is, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. And I think that society places a lot of expectation on us from our families and friends, our spiritual communities, our hobby groups. Or if you're like me and you have this special appendage, then it tells you, oh, maybe you're not living your best life. And fortunately, I think my cousin, he marched to his own drummer. So he wasn't really swayed by other people's perspectives of what he could do or what he should do. For him, family was priority. So his lovely wife, his adorable kids, and also by extension us. So his family up in Orange County. So he just knew what was important in his life. And I'll be honest, I don't know that I could always say the same thing for myself. Wish number 2, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. My cousin, was the sole earner for his family. He worked long hours, and he, often worked overtime as well. But fortunately, even after a long, exhausting day, he would spend time playing with his children before bedtime. And I also remember seeing pictures of Joseph hand in hand with his kids, walking them on their first day to school. I've met some of the parents of kids, and you could hear how much fondness they have for him, seeing him with his big camera taking pictures of them on their trips and all of this. So it's wonderful to have seen it myself, but to also hear it from those of you who I've spoken with. And I hope that Abby and Dawn will be able to carry those experiences with them as precious memories of their father who cherished them and loved them so much. And I see many people around me working so very hard. And since my cousin passed, over dinner, I would just kind of casually ask, are you happy doing what you do? And I'm inquiring to learn about other people's thoughts as much as I am reflecting for myself. Wish number 3, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Joseph and Jolene and the kids would often come up to visit our family in Orange County, and it would usually be over a meal, usually lunchtime. And so whether I was sitting next to them or at the very end of a long banquet table, I would always see Joseph leaning over and whispering things to Dawn and Abby and giving them hugs and little kisses on the head. And when he talks to Jolene, her Vietnamese name is Linh, and he would call her Am Linh, which is like an additional sentiment, a term of endearment, to the point when I have some young kids in Vietnamese class that I teach, and one of the kids' name was Linh, and I just automatically called her Am Linh too. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just channeled my Anh Bang. And these kind of unabashed expressions of his sincere feelings, I will treasure those. And I use them as an example of making sure that I spend time to share my appreciation and my feelings with those who are around me. Wish number 4, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. My cousin actually passed away the day before my brother's birthday. And my brother doesn't usually celebrate his birthday. And so as I called to share this news, we also simultaneously were talking about what to do to celebrate his birthday the coming weekend. And he said, this feels weird. Not only do I not celebrate my birthday, but our cousin just passed away. And I kind of said in frustration, this is exactly why we need to celebrate your birthday. And I'm really heartened to see all of our family and friends here as a really robust support network. The reality is our frantic lives will not stop. There will not be a time when things get easier or they slow down. And so instead, I think we need to make up reasons to just stop and be with one another. So whether it's a birthday celebration or you go to a theater show or just grabbing coffee with each other or boba. There's boba in the other room, so make sure you get some milk tea. Take some time to stay in touch with your loved ones and with your friends. It's the mark of a life well lived. And the 5th and final wish is, I wish that I had let myself be happier. Sometimes I think we feel like we ought to be struggling because, life can be tough. However, there can also be another choice to simply be happy, to find the things in life that bring us joy and that, focus on those things and embrace that. I remember I messaged my cousins to wish Joseph a happy birthday, and I asked how they were celebrating. And Jolene sent me a picture of Joseph smiling ear to ear in front of a yellow birthday cake, which I thought was kind of oddly shaped. It turns out it wasn't cake. They had stuck a candle in 2 huge piles of durian. Now, for some of you who don't know, durian is a very aromatic fruit, but for those of you who have developed that sophisticated palate, you'll know that durian is a coveted delicacy. And so Joseph just knew how to enjoy the little things in life. So how is it that we can avoid having these 5 regrets ourselves? Is it possible to live a life true to ourselves, not work quite as hard, expressing our feelings while staying in touch with our families and letting ourselves be happy? I believe if we can use some of the examples that Joseph left for us, we can simultaneously pay tribute to Joseph's life while really being intentional with our own lives. So whether it's a year from now or a month from now, whatever it is that you wish you'd done, I'm sure you'll wish you had started today. So I hope that these short stories and these fond memories of Joseph will help encourage you to live a life with few regrets and filled with love. And so just like Nguyen, Paul encouraged you, I'm going to invite you to come up and share some stories so that we can continue to pay tribute to our beloved Joseph. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kat. My daughter Ada is in school with Abigail. They're in the same school in 5th grade together. So I've been asked to say on behalf of Jolene and some other people that can't be present today as well, just a few quick words. I have memories of Joseph being another parent at school, and I remember his big smile and his even bigger camera, a camera like this big, hanging off of his neck, and he was always there. Anytime I was there for our after-school events, there was a field day one time. Our kids would go for ice cream after school, but I just remember Joseph being so proud of his children, so fun, so lighthearted, such a big smile, and it was a pleasure to be around him. I'd always try to find Joseph during field days and during events at school just to hang out with him and say hi, because he was so friendly and nice, and he made me feel welcome, I guess, anytime I was around him. A couple quick things I've been asked to share that Jolene also wanted to thank the EMTs and the responders when Joseph did have a heart attack, and she wanted to thank them so much for their courtesies and all their efforts, as well as this place right here, Featherington Hill. So she expresses gratitude for them as well and holding space for them. As we all know, could be deemed a sad thing. It's definitely difficult when people are not physically around us in our lives that we love. But as the slideshow shows, of course, it means that you did love somebody. You had somebody in your life that meant something to you. And that's worth everything. And so my family's heart, of course, is with their family. Abby and Dawn, we're with you guys forever if you ever need anything. And I believe we wanted to spend a couple minutes watching a slideshow. And then if anyone else would like to say anything, you can stay where you are and just stand up, or you can come up here if you like. But we're just going to spend maybe a minute or two just to watch the slideshow together. If you'd like to think about something you'd like to say, please do. And if not, of course, you can say it to the family in private. And then we have a balloon release. So once we have some time in here, we're gonna everyone's gonna grab a balloon or two, and then we're gonna go release the balloons, and then come inside and enjoy more friendship and beautiful celebration of life for Joseph, because he did seem to celebrate life a lot. And so it's very important, I think, to all of us to acknowledge that. It's a celebration of his life, it's a celebration of his joy, it's a celebration of the beautiful family, beautiful friends coming together to celebrate him. So let's just take about a minute or so. We just want to look at a couple photos, and then if anyone wants to come back up, and then we'll do the balloon release.
I have 3 kids, and I always had an excuse that I was tired and I never spent time with my kids as much as I wanted to. He didn't have that excuse. He was a great guy. And I'm so happy to have you guys as a neighbor. If you ever need me or something, knock on my door. I'm there, okay? And sorry I get this, I'm not a type guy that likes to hear from people. But thank you anyways.
Yeah, I work with Joe I've known Joe for like 10 years. And so, sorry, I just had to gather myself in the rest a little bit because he's very special to me too. Very, very special. We're opposite. I'm loud, he's more quiet. I'm opinionated, very strong with my opinion. He's very strong with his, but in a softer way. He was one of the nicer guys at work, one of the best conversations. One time I was in the Air Force. This is how much he loved his family, and he showed me with this response. I just asked him really, he asked me, why didn't you do 20 years? Why didn't you retire? And I said, Joseph, why don't you work every weekend like everybody else? Because it's very easy to work every weekend and make that money. And that's all I said. I said, why don't you work every weekend? He says, I understand. I said, it's tough, man. Going away from your family. You can't even stay away for 2 days. You want to stay home with your family. I couldn't stay for X amount of years. It's just way too much. With that simple response, I knew how he was. The stuff a big loss that I had. It's been almost 2 years I lost my mom. As harsh as I came back home, I came back to work. I didn't want to go to work. I came back and everybody comes up to you and tells you what you think what you should do to process this, how you should feel, what's going on. And Joseph came up so humbly, but I was so angry, and I didn't respond very well. We didn't talk for a little bit. We never did say good morning. We never did acknowledge each other. But he can tell I was really hurt. And he left me alone for that reason. And there was a moment he got really sick, and he didn't get to work for a long time. And when I saw him, I told him, I'm happy to see you back at work. And he said, thank you. I said, because I would not have liked the other end if it wasn't that you came back to work. I really appreciate it. And we started talking again, and he told me what happened with his parents. And it's something that I never knew. And it happened while I was working there with him. And he was so strong that he never showed that part of himself to me. And I would cry like this at work, and he would stand there and tell me that he loved me. And he would hug me, but he wouldn't cry because he wasn't raised that way. But he knew I was strong. And he always saw my pain. Always. And he asked me, that's why I tried at work. And I'm sorry for crying this much, But that's why I try to be as happy as I can. I actually make an effort to try, because he tells me that he doesn't like to see me this way, like he wouldn't like to see you a certain way. That's not me. That's not who I am. And more so now, and I wish it wasn't for this reason, but it was because of him that I would try. And it's more so now. He was one of the better guys at work. Didn't matter what kind of personalities we had, he was there with me. Didn't matter how mad we were, what kind of disputes we had, politics or tech stuff and stuff. All I would have to do, I'd watch G.I. Joe as a kid. And I would sing the little song for it, and I would say, "Yo, Joe!" And he would always smile. every single time. So that's my story about Joe. His heart was pure, and it's the most beautiful soul I've met at work. I appreciate you guys, and sorry.
Quyên có nói gì không Quyên?
So everyone, this is a balloon release memorial. So if you could take a few moments to attach some kind thoughts to your balloons. So these could be wishes for the world, positive vibes for the universe, something you want to share with Joseph, something you want to share with a loved one. Just attach it to the balloon so when you release it, it'll go out. These are biodegradable, so really make sure these are okay for the environment. Mời cô chú anh chị và con nghĩ đến cái gì vui hay trong đời để khi mà mình thả mấy bong bóng này đó thì nó có thể lên trời đến anh bằng hay gia đình của mình. Is someone gonna count?
Three.
Oh, okay.
John, you want to count?
1, 2, 3.
Go.
Yeah!
Sống rất hạnh thơi. Nếu một mai tôi có đi qua đời thì người ơi tôi đã sống rất tuyệt vời. La 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 la. Người ơi tôi đã sống rất hạnh thơi. La 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 la. Người ơi tôi đã sống rất tuyệt vời. Người ơi tôi đã sống rất tuyệt vời. Thì ngày nhắm mắt thấy tôi quay về với bữa cơm nhà mà bao lâu tôi bỏ qua. Nhắm mắt thấy ba mẹ ngồi bên đứa em thơ dại, nhìn lại năm học cách yêu thương người khác tôi và bao dung cho người ghét tôi. Tôi học cách xua đau thương bằng nụ cười và bằng niềm tin ở con người. Nếu một mai tôi có bay lên trời thì người ơi tôi đã sống rất thảnh thơi. Nếu một mai tôi có đi qua đời thì người ơi tôi đã sống rất tuyệt vời. Cho người ghét tôi. Tôi học cách xua đau thương bằng nụ cười và bằng niềm tin ở